Hello children, welcome back. Here this is Priya again from Alpha International CBSE School, Bahu. Hope you all are doing your exams very well and also I hope that you all are safe at home. Isn't it children? Yes. So today we are going to revise Social Studies chapter 1 in Geography, Resources and Development. So we had learned and discussed about this lesson in 4 sessions last month, right? And I think this is the easiest chapter for you also to remember because we are seeing this in our day-to-day life and we are experiencing this in some areas also. Even recently we had been seeing like in news regarding those soil erosions which happen in Kerala and all. So it will be a life taught lesson also children. And then let us go into the lesson and revise what are the important things. So we are not going to mark what all important and what not important. We are just going to summarize what we have learned. And then I will give you some hints like how to segregate or how to read and then what all the contents are there in the lesson. So according to the headings and subheadings, let us revise, discuss and recollect what is there and what we have learnt in this chapter earlier. Okay children? Yes. And here our heading, the first lesson, chapter lesson's name is Resources and Development, right? So what is a resource? Here I'll just read you children because already I have explained everything in the all videos and audio sessions. If you need to revise and if you want to know it again, you can go back and play back those videos. Okay. Here I'll just read what is there and what is about it and how many types are there, how it is classified, segregated. But the definitions and also the explanation, if you need again, you can go back and check into our social site. Okay children? Yes. Here what is a resource? Everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs is called a resource. It should be technologically accessible, economically feasible and culturally acceptable. Only only then it can be termed as a resource. So examples are minerals, forest, fossil fuels, etc. And the next, and these resources are classified. Let us see the classifications. The classification of resources are 4 types. It is classified into 4 types. What are the 4 types and what are the subdivisions? Let us see. First one, on the basis of origin. On the basis of origin is subdivided into biotic and abiotic resources. And second one, on the basis of exhaustibility, and it is subdivided into renewable and non-renewable resources. Third one, on the basis of ownership, which is again classified into individual, community, national and international. The last one is on the basis of status and development, which is further classified into 4 types: potential, developed, reserve and stock. So these are the 4 basis of classification on the basis children, and the subdivisions also given, and you have to be thorough with these 4 classifications because maximum number of 1 mark questions will be asked from these resources only. So you have to be thorough with the examples and types, how many types, 2 types or 4 types, and what are the examples in given. So be thorough with the classification of resources. Here are the sub-classifications. The classifications are divided into further types, right? We have discussed that. Those subdivisions are here and we will be discussing about this in a single line or a single like a phrase definition. We can take it as a definition. Okay, first we have to discuss about biotic resources. Biotic resources are obtained from where? From the biosphere. They have life and or and they are what? Living organisms, living resources. So these life particles are what? Life living beings are living resources. Example, human beings, fisheries, forests, etc. Next one is abiotic resources. Abiotic resources include all non-living things like rocks and minerals. Okay, children? And not only minerals like what we have discussed, like iron, metals, whatever is available in the environment which is non-living being, that we can take it as abiotic resources. Next is renewable resources. The resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical and mechanical processes are known as renewable or replenishable resources. Example, water, wildlife, forest, solar energy, wind energy, etc. All these can be reused again, right children? Yes. Non-renewable resources. The resources which once get exhausted cannot be remade. They take a long geological period of time, millions of years in their formation. Example, minerals, fossil fuels, etc. It means then these type of resources, once it is used, once it is getting finished, we cannot reuse it. All those fuels and all, once we burn it, it just evaporates, right? We cannot reuse it. So those type of resources are called non-renewable resources. So these are the next. Let us see the other classifications in other slide. Now, individual resources. Individual resources are owned by individuals in person, own land, houses, etc. It means an individual person who owns these land, houses, like industrials. Oh, those are called like individual resources. Next one, community owned resources. Resources, it means community owned resources means resources which are accessible to all the members of the community. It means which is used by all the people in certain regions. Okay, children. For example, parks and playgrounds are used by all the people living there. So those type of resources are called community owned resources. National resources, national resources. Resources which belong to the nation. Example, roads, railways. All these are national resources which belongs to all the people in the nation and used by the people in the nation. And international resources which no individual country can utilize. Example, oceanic waters beyond 200 kilometers. It means for every country, I mean inside like within 200 kilometers region, for every country they can use, that nation can use it. But if it is beyond 200 kilometers, no country should show their ownership on that particular region, and it will be belong to all the people in the world and not to that particular region. So that is why for that border, we Indians and China people, where we are fighting, we are having one no man's land which will not belong to both the countries. But the China people were fighting with us recently, right? So that type of no man's land will be not utilized by any people of those countries, and it will be like that without using and without like belonging to some certain countries. So that is called international resources. And next one is potential resources. Resources found in a region but not in use. Example, solar energy in Rajasthan, wind energy in Gujarat, etc. It means they are found more, but the people living there is not capable of using it. Okay. Next, talk. Resources available but do not have appropriate technology to access. Example, lack of technical know how to use hydrogen and oxygen as source of energy and exact, and like wind also sometimes it also can taken into the note. It means it is abundant, we know how to use but we are not using it. We know that hydrogen and oxygen are source of energy but we are not using like an appropriate technology, we are not having that and we are not using, but we know how to use it. And next one is reserve, subset of stock can be used for future needs. Example, water in dams, forest reserves. These type of stocks can be used in future for the next generation also. Okay, children. So these are the subdivisions on the basis of ownership, exhaustibility, all those things. Okay. So now we have finished just having a look on, having a glance on classification of resources and subclassification of those certain resources, right? Now coming to the next part, let us see what are here. Sustainable development. Sustainable development means sustainable economic development means that development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of future generation. It means sustainable developments that the development should take place without damaging the environment. We can use whatever we are getting, whatever available in the environment, but we must not damage it, because the future generation is waiting there to use it. They also need that. So for the future generation we have to safeguard it. On the other hand, if we save that environment only, we can be safe from natural disasters, right children? Yes. And then land under important relief features in India. So land under important relief features in India means it is divided into three parts, like they have given the percentages here. For 100 percentage, like plains in India are about 43%, and mountains in India are about 30%, and plateaus in India are about 27%. Next comes land degradation. Land degradation means continuous use of land over a long period of time without taking appropriate measures to conserve and manage it. It means we are using the land continuously, everything like for farming, building, instructions, institutions, and also like industries, organization. We are doing many things using the land, but we are not managing in the sense we are not maintaining it in a healthier way. So on the other hand, the land degradation occurs. Next, measure to solve problem of land degradation. What are the measures to solve the problem of land degradation? Afforestation, proper management of grazing to control overgrazing, planting of shelter belts of plants, and stabilization of sand dunes by growing thorny bushes, control of mining activities, avoid over irrigation and overuse of fertilizers and pesticides. So these are the things which we have to make it in a control, and we have to we have to avoid all these things to solve problem for what? For land degradation. Okay children. Now here we are going to discuss about soil, like soil erosion, soil, like types of soils and how to conserve them. Okay children. So first let us discuss about soil erosion. The denudation of the soil cover and subsequent washing down is soil erosion. Reasons for soil erosion includes, it means the reason for soil erosion is like are, first one, human activities like deforestation, overgrazing, construction, mining, defective methods of farming, for etc. So what are those human activities like deforestation, overgrazing, construction, mining, and then defective method of farming. Defective method of farming means not well planned farming, like having no idea how to maintain the quality of the land. So that is called defective method of farming. And then natural forces like wind and glaciers and water flows also will be a reason for soil erosion, and like which happened in Kerala, like water due to water flow soil erosion occurred, right children? So natural forces also will be a reason for a soil erosion. Next is types of erosion. So types of erosions are, first one, gully erosion. So the gully erosion, that means what? The running water cuts through the clay soils and makes deep channels, that is known as gullies. And this makes the land bad land, and in the channel basin such land is known as ravines. So sheet erosion. When topsoil over large area is washed away, it is known as sheet erosion. Next, methods to prevent soil erosion in hilly area. The methods to prevent soil erosion in hilly area means like plowing along the contour lines is called contour plowing, and then terrace cultivation, strip farming and shelter belts. And here soils and its types, it means the types of soils available. First one is alluvial soils. Entire northern plains are made of alluvial soil. Also, they are also found in the eastern coastal plains, particularly in the deltas of the Mahanadi, the Godavari and the Krishna and the Kaveri rivers. Fertile soil, therefore, fit for agriculture purpose. Regions of alluvial soils are intensively cultivated and densely populated, rich in potash and phosphoric acid and lime, which are ideal for the growth of sugarcane, paddy, wheat and other cereal and pulse crops. Next is black soil. Black in color. These soils are what? Black in color and are also known as regur soils. Ideal for growing cotton and is also known as black cotton soil. These are found in the plateaus of Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Malwa, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Also along the Godavari and the Krishna valleys, made up of extremely fine, that is clayey material, well known for their capacity to hold moisture and rich in calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and lime. Red and yellow soils, found in the soils of low rainfall in the eastern and southern parts of the Deccan Plateau. Also found in the parts of Odisha, Chhattisgarh, southern parts of the middle Ganga plain and along the Piedmont zone of the western Ghats, and develop a reddish color and due to diffusion of iron in crystalline and metamorphic rocks. So because of these chemical reactions, the color of the soil changes. It looks in red in color. That's why we call it as red or yellow soils. So children, in these types of soils, you have to mainly remember the what types of soils and their water holding capacity. There another name for the soil, for the black soil, it is called as black cotton soil, and where it is grown, and those soils are rich in what and what you have to remember mainly. Okay children. So here comes next one is laterite soils. These laterite soils develop in areas with high temperature and heavy rainfall. They are found in Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh and the hilly areas of Odisha and Assam. And the soils are suitable for cultivation with adequate doses of manures and fertilizers. Low humus content because decomposers like bacteria gets destroyed due to high temperature. And next, arid soils. These soils are found in western parts of Rajasthan, and after proper irrigation, these soils become cultivable. Lacks humus. The soil lacks humus and moisture because dry climate. There is a high dry climate there. High temperature makes evaporation faster. Salt content is very high and common salt is obtained by evaporating the water. That much salt content is there and the land looks dry. Forest soils. The last one is forest soils. These soils are found in the hilly and mountainous areas where sufficient rainforests are available. pH differs based on location. Loamy and silty in valley sides and coarse grained in the upper slopes. Silt in the lower parts of the valleys, particularly on the river terraces, and alluvial fans are fertile. So children, these are the types of soils, and with this we have come to an end of the revision part of resources and development geography first chapter. So I have not given all each and every point here. I just revised the main headings and subheadings to just give you a glance of what we have learned in the previous class. If you want to know in detail, just go back to those old slides and then you can recollect what we have discussed there. If possible, you can take the textbook and read also. Okay, children? So with this, the revision part over, and let us discuss the question pattern, how we are going to ask in the unit test. Okay? So this is a question pattern for unit test 1. Unit test 1, formative test 1, everything, formative assessment, everything is 1, children. So this is a question pattern, and for 25 marks we will be asking you questions. Presentation is also very important for you, and the question pattern is in of 3 sections. Section A is one word answers. One word answers in the sense you must not write the answers in one word. It might be in fill up form. We will ask you the questions in the fill up form or multiple choice questions or also in a question format. So children, these things we didn't give. There is these questions are not from the textbooks. Like multiple choice questions, fill-ups are not there in the textbook. We will not ask the same questions which is given in the textbook, because CBSE means questions will be always coming from the content and not the questions from the content. It means like we will ask the twisted questions which is related to the content and not the same questions which are given in the textbook. So these one word answers, one word questions, multiple choice questions, fill-ups, everything will be from the lesson. So you can answer each and every question only when you are thorough with the content. If possible, go through the textbook or listen to the audios. If you're not feeling free, I mean if you're not comfortable to listen to the audio or textbook, just read the slides and note down what are the important words, what are the vocabularies we had discussed there. Headings and side, just draw a mind map. While reading, you just write like a mind map. For example, classification, 4 types. Under that, on the basis of ownership, what are the subclassification? On the basis of exhaustibility, what are the subclass? Like that, you just write a mind map, and then you can remember it easily. So for 10 marks, we will ask you 10 questions. Some of the questions will be in multiple choice questions, some of them will be in the fill up format, and some will be in a question format. For that question format, you have to write in a sentence and not in one word. Okay, children? Yes. And then section B. In section B, we are going to ask you about like write short answers for the following. Short answer in the sense you have to write like in or about 30 words. The answer should be in about 30 words, more or less 30 words should be covered, and each question carries 2 marks. For example, the question will be like, what is a resource, I will ask. So first I gave you a definition, like everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs is called a resource. So that type of definitions along with examples you can write here, and these questions will carry 2 marks each. 5 questions will be given, 10 marks, but there will be no choice for that. Okay, children? And section C. Section C is answer in detail. Here 2 questions will be asked. Answer in detail in the sense long answers, and those answers should be in about 100 to 150 words. As we are asking you to write in 30 words or 100 to 150 words, don't just count the words and write. More or less it should be that the content should be covered in 100 to 150 words. And that questions will carry 2.5 mark each, and here also we will give or we may not give the choice. 95% we will not give the choice and 5% we may give. So you have to be thorough with the content and the question answers which we have given. If possible, you can go through the twisted questions are available in the net. So one question if we give how the twisted form we can ask, those questions are also available in the internet. You can just refer that also, children. So 2 questions will be asked in section C and 2 questions carries 2.5 5 marks. So total 10 plus 10 plus 5 25 marks. And I'm sure that you will attend your exam and you will present in the best way, because I hope children, the 9th standard students are doing the best, and from day one I have been seeing your progress which is improvising day by day in your homeworks, written performance and your interest towards the studies. So I wish you will be presenting the same thing in the examination also. All the best children for tomorrow's exam, and I will be waiting, eagerly waiting to correct your answers. And another thing, handwriting is also very important, children. So post, just read the questions properly, note down properly and post the answers in given time. Okay, children? So this is the end of the revision session. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, children. This is Priya signing off from Alpha International CBSE School. Bye, dears.